it has been around 3.5 months since I have been using completely this only Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, that is the most criticized flagship smartphone of this year. But despite of all the facts and all the quirks that comes around with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, I just wanted to tell you my experience of using this device and completely switching away from the Apple iPhone and from the entire Apple ecosystem. And as you can see in the back already that I'm using a MacBook over here, which means that I paired this device with my Apple MacBook, the Pro version, the M4 one with this device, which means that it is not a very difficult task to just live with an Android smartphone just like this thing over here with an Apple device. And that is exactly that why I wanted to make this video. Again, a lot of people may ask that how does this compatibility thing it works across my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and my Apple devices. In fact, I'm using this device alongside of my the iPad Pro, the 11 inches one, alongside of the AirPods Pro as well, my Apple MacBook, and also the AirPods Pro Max as well. And again, there are a lot of workarounds and it just takes some time to set up everything, but once everything is done, it is not too bad. For example, if I want to use my AirPods Pro or the Pro Maxes, I can just use the port link application to pair my the AirPods with or the AirPods Max with this thing. And every time I just open the application, I can see that what is the battery life that is present on the device, what is the battery health on my the AirPods case, and so much so it is just not a very difficult thing to use the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra with my AirPods. And the same thing, if I want to use something like the iMessages, I can just use WhatsApp and I can just pair it across all the other devices that I have in my home. I have this on my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. The same application is linked and paired with my WhatsApp or my MacBook Pro as well, and the same thing is with my iPad as well. And the other thing that a lot of people may think is the Photos application, which is again I'm just using the Google Photo services, which is also one of the best ones that we have in the market. Again, I can just upload everything into the cloud and I can save the space on the phone as well. And at the same time, if I have got a base level MacBook in my studio, it is again one thing that is a space saver and I can just access everything from the Google Photos application on any device that I have in my studio. But also, we do not have any kind of AirDrop services on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra to be able to be paired with the MacBook, and the solution is very simple. Again, I can just use the Send Anywhere application. I have installed it on my device on this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and also at the same time on my iPad and on my MacBook Pro as well. So again, not a very difficult thing. But on the other hand, if you have got something that is not a MacBook and a Windows device, I think so that there is a built-in application on the Windows platform to be able to pair your device, and every time that you are on your Windows device, you can see the messages in the real time, just like it was iMessages on the Apple device paired with the MacBook. So yes, I think so that it is just no-brainer that if you do not have a Windows laptop and if you just have a MacBook and if you want to use this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, it is just not a bad thing. Now, the other thing that I just want to get out of the way in this video as well is that a lot of people again would compare this device with the latest OnePlus 13 or the latest one that is from Oppo, even though that those devices they have a greater PWM dimming rate and also at the same time larger batteries, faster charging. But again, I think so to a lot of people it does not even matter, and even if it mattered, this device is just not available in the American markets, and that is again one of the biggest bummers about the devices from Oppo. Again, the camera on this one might not be one of the best one and might not be as good as what you have got on the Oppo devices with again 1-inch camera sensors. One thing that I really want Samsung to be just implementing on their new devices, but the thing is that the software compatibility and the way that the entire smartphone it functions, I think it is something that matters to me at least, and might be a lot of features on the Oppo smartphones might be a rip-off of some of the features from Samsung smartphones, some of them from Sony smartphones, and some of them from Apple smartphones. I think so that these devices over here, the Samsung and the Apple smartphones, they do retain a bit more of originality. And even if if they copy each other. The functions are much more well implemented on these devices than just talking about something like having a silicon carbide battery on the Oppo smartphone. At the same time, if the software is not good, you are just not able to use that smartphone to its full potential, and it just might be another piece of tech just lying around a corner in your home, and it is just not a good thing in my opinion. In fact, I think so that the Samsung smartphones and the Apple smartphones are one of the best in the terms of the AI features, even though the iOS 18.4 was a big letdown, and again all the features are not implemented perfectly. Apple might be fixing the things in the iOS 19 update, which is something that the other smartphones from Oppo and OnePlus might not be able to fix as quick as these big manufacturers in the market. Now on to the AI things is one thing that I really love about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and again I'm just not even talking about the old features like the live translate feature or the features like the live interpretation or maybe the chat assist feature. I'm just really talking about the features that does really matter a lot on this smartphone. For example, this is one feature that is not very much I think so specific to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, but the Gemini live feature, I think so it is a game changer. You can pretty much just ask anything to this feature on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and it is almost accurate every time. Again, this feature is also available on the Google Pixel devices too, but not on the Apple iPhones, and that is why I just wanted to feature this feature in this video over here. Yes, I know it is a bit confusing, but yes, this is exactly that what I wanted to mean in this video. Now with this feature, as it is combined with the Samsung Bixby thing on this device, it is a very deep integration, which means that when you ask Gemini to be able to summarize a YouTube video for you, you can also use the Bixby at the same time to add that transcript to the Notes application on the Samsung smartphone, which is one of the best things that I really found about this AI thing on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Again, one thing that is not really available on all the other smartphones, maybe the Pixel smartphones, but not in the best way as what I have seen on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. In fact, this is one smartphone that has really outpaced the Google Pixel 9 series because of this generative edit feature, which is one feature that is again carried from the Google devices, but the way that this feature works on this device is just very much amazing. In fact, I can just put a hand on the front of my face and I can just use this generative edit feature to be able to edit this thing, and it would just do a charm, and it would just never appear like that there was ever any hand on the top of my face, and it would just completely erase that hand. In fact, I just had a photograph with my wife in one of the malls a few days ago, and not a few days ago, like I think so a few months ago, and that photograph was taken on my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and when I edited that image on this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, I was able to completely remove my wife from the frame that was standing just in front of me, and it never looks like that photograph if it originally had any kind of person in front of me, which is amazing. I call it the wife remover tool, but just do not use it in your home or just do not show your wife, because you might be in the wrong hands in that place and you might be beaten by your wife as well. So yes, it is a disclaimer before you use feature on your wife, and again, I'm just saying in this video. Now the other thing that I like about this smartphone in the terms of the AI features is the way that you can remove the audio out of the frame or maybe any video that you have shot on this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, or in fact even if the video was not shot on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, you can still erase the background noises and the wind noise on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it again just does a very amazing job. And also one another thing, sometimes when I'm making some kind of thumbnails for my videos on my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, or maybe I'm using a Canva tool, I realize that the frame is just too much I would say zoomed in, and I just want some extra space that I'm not able to do with the free version of Canva. But I can just use the generative edit feature and I can just change the angle to just have some extra space on the bottom of the image, and I can just use the generative edit feature to complete the frame. And again, at the same time, I have just got a larger frame, and when I put the same image on the Canva after that, it just has got a lot of space, and again it is just not a zoomed in photograph, and I can just add some extra text at the same time. So again, one thing that is very much amazing with the AI features on this device, but also at the same time, as I said before, it has got all the AI features just like the iOS 18.4, which means that you can use this smartphone to be able to get the smart replies in a way of different manners, like the friendly manner, the casual manner, or maybe a much more professional manner. So everything again that can be done on the iPhones can be done on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra as well. So something that you might not be missing when you switch to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, which is amazing. Now, a few things that I do really miss on my iPhone is the thing like whenever I get a missed call on my phone, I used to just go to the phone application and see the recorded voicemail in that iPhone over there, and that is not one thing that I can do on my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. So every time there is a missed call, I just need to go back and dial back on my voicemail and see that what is the voicemail that it looks like, and also at the same time I can just not see the live translation of the thing, so I can just not copy paste the numbers to call back with the extension on the missed voice calls, which is one thing that I really miss on my iPhone. And again, this is one thing that can be added on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra with a few software updates, because I know that the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL can do the very exact same thing as well. Again, I just do not have that smartphone in my studio right now, but because I use that device, I know that this is possible on the Google devices as well. But one thing that is really irritating on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is that the fact that whenever I request for a two-factor authentication code from any of the applications online, sometimes I think so it just does not autofill or does not request for autofilling that code into the application. Again, I think so that this is one thing that is a bug with Android thing, and maybe the way that how these applications are designed, but this is not the same thing that I generally see on the Apple devices. But on the other hand, I think so that the iOS 18.4 is not one of the most stable platforms that I've seen in the longest time. In fact, starting from the iOS 18 thing, I think so that the iPhone 16 Pro Max is one of the most buggy smartphone that I've seen in the longest time, and I just do not see any kind of status on this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra in that regards. But one another thing that I just reminded myself over here as I'm talking over here is that whenever I use the Google Chrome browser on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, it is just very difficult to go forward the page, which means that you just need to go to the browser setting. You need to look for the three dots on the top right corner of the smartphone and look for the forward icon over there to be able to go forward the page, which is not the same thing with the Apple iPhones, because you can just swipe right or left to be able to go backward and to be able to go forward, which is again one of the best implementations that I have seen on the Apple devices, and that is regardless of the browser. So I think so this is more like again the Android thing rather than being a thing with this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra as I have tested. Now another thing is that a lot of people would say that the battery is not silicon carbide on this device, again as I just mentioned, but again I think so that the battery capacity is not too bad, and that is especially just because of the Snapdragon 8 Gen Elite processor. I think so it is a very stable one, and usually I just do not need to charge my device for a day or more if I'm using this device on, I would say, a mediocre day-to-day usage, but otherwise I just need to charge this device by the end of the day. But one thing that this device really shines is in the way that the display on this device it really looks like, and that is thanks to the anti-reflective coating on this device. But unfortunately, because I'm using a screen protector on this device, I just do not enjoy the anti-reflective coating on this device, and that is pretty much same with any other device that most of the people use in their day-to-day life. I think so most of the people, they do put a screen protector on the devices just so that it does not scratch off the screen on the phones, which is again one feature that might have been useful, but not in my case at least, because again I'm using a screen protector as you can see. Now the cameras on this smartphone are pretty much decent as well, and again I gave my iPhone 16 Pro Max to my wife, and when I compared the photographs from my iPhone to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, most of the times they are pretty much equivalent, and the other times I think so that the punchy colors and the saturated colors that comes out of the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, I do prefer them in some of the cases. But either case, I think so you would not be missing anything if you just switch from the iPhone 16 Pro Max to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And in fact, I think so that the video quality on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra has been improved significantly, and in most of the cases I just feel like that the videos that come out of this device are better than what you get out of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But you do really miss on the features like the action button and the camera control button, which is one thing that I was not using on the iPhone 16 Pro Max anyway, so that is not a big thing for me. But as per the customizations, even though the fact that the iOS 18 is one of the biggest updates on Apple smartphones and you can now really customize most of the things on the iPhones, but the thing is that it is just not as much customizable as what you are getting on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and that is just because of the good lock feature that is one of the best ones. And when you combine it with the home hub feature, it is just very much amazing. You can just increase the number of grids on the home screen and the app drawer, at the same time changing the sensitivity and the animations on the screen, which is one thing that is amazing as well. And also you can just place the icons anywhere on the screen if you just use this feature, and also you can put emojis on top of that as well, which is again one thing that not everyone would do, but that is just the extent of customizations that you can do on this device. And you can pair this feature with the themes option on this device as well. You can choose different icons, put your icons anywhere on the screen, and also increase and decrease the width of the widgets on the screen to any way that you just want to, and the options are just endless. And that is just because of the fact that this is an Android smartphone and there are just way too many applications that you can use with this device, just like having a Nova launcher combined with some other application on this device to be able to make this device just as personalized as what you would want on a smartphone. And that is one thing that has been missing on the Apple smartphones, even after the fact that the iOS 18 update, it does let you just put the icons anywhere on the screen, change the colors of the icons, and so much so, but not as good as what you can do with this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And that just makes me just cherish this device every day, because this does feel like a very much personalized device rather than having what you have on the Apple devices. Now the other thing on this smartphone is that I like the way that how this One UI, I think so it is 7.0 on this device, it behaves. It is just very much amazing. I think so it copied a lot of features from the Apple devices at the same time, just like the lock screen. I think so that it is very much like what you have on the Apple devices. And also at the same time, if you just swipe from one corner of the screen, you would be able to go to the navigation bar and all the options that come with it. And if you just swipe the other way around, you would be able to get the notifications, which is again exactly that what you're able to do on the Apple devices as well. But one additional feature that I just cherish on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra that is not very much well implemented on the Apple smartphones is the fact that the newspaper application on this device is integrated very well. And this is the same case on the Samsung devices from quite a few years now, and this is one application that I think so that I use the most on this device. And the last thing is that this thing over here, it does have an S Pen, even though that it does not have any kind of Bluetooth functionality. I think so you can still not use anything on the iPhones to be able to sign a document, but that is not a case on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. You can anytime just pick out the pen on the smartphone and to be able to sign different documents, or maybe draw something on the screen, or maybe if you want to specifically select something when doing the generative edit. I think so it is much more easy when you have the precision of the S Pen on the smartphone. So again, this is one feature that is not available on the iPhones just because of a lack of any kind of pencil on those smartphones. So all in all, I think so that the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is really one of the most amazing devices. And as I have been using this device from the past 3 months, not a single time I just wanted to switch back to my latest iPhone. In fact, I just want to use this smartphone for a longer time until and unless we get the next best iPhone in the market. So yes, I think so that this is really a worthy device and one that is better than all the other Android flagship smartphones in the market, and that is just because of a very good hardware and a software implementation on this all new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. That was all about this video. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.